Well, Mark Stein's right on the money, and people around the league think that the Clippers are looking to move Lou Williams. Remember, we talked yesterday about Montrezl Harrell and the issues he created in that locker room. But it wasn't just Montrezl. It was a trio. Montrezl, Lou, and Patrick Beverley. And I'm not saying it was a civil war, but it was just some tension there. And we all know that. And so, yeah, they wouldn't mind getting rid of Lou and Patrick Beverley. I think you can even say they're shopping them, not desperately shopping them, like we got to get them out of here, but they would like that type of fresh start. Lou also brings problems on the court. As great as he is offensively, he doesn't play good defense. We all know that. He's a liability there. And so they are looking to move on. The problem is Lou only makes $8 million a year. So it's going to be tough to get a player back who can give you his production for that type of money. With Patrick Beverley, he's got 2 years, about $27 million left on his deal. And teams feel like, and it's true, he's always injured. If you look at his history, he is always banged up. Maybe it's how tough he plays, how hard-nosed he is, but that is scaring teams off. So there's not a ton of, much of a market out there for Patrick Beverley or really either of these guys. Now, the Clippers would love to get their hands on Terry Rozier. I would love them to get Terry Rozier. I'm sure Skip would love them to get Terry Rozier. It's the type of move that's needed to help them keep pace with the Lakers, but nothing's impossible. But Michael Jordan loves Terry Rozier. He wishes he had a team full of Terry Roziers. A lot of people think Rozier's on the market because they drafted LaMelo Ball, who's a point guard, but that's not necessarily the case. Jordan thinks they can play together. Rozier can play some too. If he's going to trade him, it's going to take a lot more than what the Clippers can offer. And so while I'd like to see them get Rozier, I do not see that happening.
Can somebody answer me this, Skip? Chris, you and Skip, maybe you can help me. What is the Clippers culture? What is it?
What do you think it is?
Not losing.
Well, you know what, though? Recently, we do have to be honest. I mean, under Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, they were pretty good. Not a championship team, but they were legit contenders. Then when Chris left, they became this hard-nosed,
There you go.
Team.
Thank you. Paul.
And then, okay.
Trez, Lou Will.
Kawhi and Paul George, that changed.
So in other words, if you're going to make a fresh start, you got to get everybody that was there part of the old culture. Remember, Skip, Pat Bev bounced around. Trez bounced around. Lou Will was a second-round draft pick. They fought, scratch, claw, practiced every single day, played every single night. And now you get two guys coming here and they take it off. They not practicing. They play when they want to. And that rubbed them the wrong way. And so in order for you to get a fresh start, because clearly, and rightfully so, Paul George and Kawhi, those are your centerpieces. You got to keep those happy, those guys happy, because both of those guys have player options next year. The one thing you cannot have happen is one or both of these guys walking out the door and you're about to go get $1 billion, $1.5 billion playpen down in Inglewood. You can't have that, Skip. Now, I would love for you to get Terry Rozier, because what you really need was a Rajon Rondo, a guy that's unconcerned about scoring, that only cares about getting you involved in your offense.
I agree with that.
Terry Rozier has success in the playoffs, Skip, scoring the basket. He wants to be really a two masquerading as a point. So he going to want to get his bucket. And Kawhi, when he told him, I think he passed the ball to Reggie Jackson, somebody, he said, I ain't get a ball up for that, please. So I can just imagine Kawhi and Terry Rozier. But you go ahead and get it. Do what y'all need to do. But we upstairs polishing up our trophy.
Yep, you lucked into it. I give you that.
Ain't no luck.
So, to me, the Clippers culture is whatever Kawhi wants it to be right now.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
And he wanted Serge Ibaka to be part of that culture because he loves Serge, and Serge loves Kawhi, and it's going to be very different. But they kept their one enforcer. Marcus Morris is still right in the middle of this, and he is a very valuable piece, and he got his money to stay. So I love that. And to Chris's point, it was a clash of old guard versus new guard. but new guard is way more talented than old guard.
Absolutely.
So Lou Williams has seen his best days in this league, and I love him, and I used to really love him, but he has become, in their eyes, expendable because he didn't want to be in the bubble, and he played like it last year because in the playoff run, he shot 24% from three, and he was driving me out of my mind because he looked lifeless. He looked like he was not buying into whatever the new Clippers were selling.
He had a lemon pepper sauce.
He had lemon pepper sauce, and we know about the Magic City incident, and I think that was the beginning of the end of Lou as a Clipper.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay, so no Trez, again, rejected to the Lakers.
There you go.
He was a reject. He's a cast-off.
Skip, just say that Trez is no longer there.
He is no longer there because they didn't want him there. Yeah, and so here we go. Lou Williams is on the market. I don't know what they can do. I don't know what you can get. As Chris said, these are all very difficult moves. But
what about Pat Bev? Pat Bev was the third best guy on the team. And why are you trying to get rid of the third best guy and a point guard? You got a point guard. Don't Pat Bev play point guard?
Yeah, he's a defensive point guard. He's not an offensive point guard.
Well, if he stopped training in Tim's on the beach, he wouldn't be in danger so much.
And also to Chris's point, I love Terry Rozier. He's got that dog in him, but you're right, Shannon. He is more two than one. Now, when Kyrie was out and they went on their run 2 years ago in the playoffs, or is it now it's almost 3 years ago, Terry Rozier was pretty good as a point guard. He averaged 6 assists through those games, and they got, obviously, all the way to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron and company, and that was the end of that deal. Well, but they got to 7, so it was pretty impressive, and he was the driving force and the heartbeat of that team.
And what did he do? He parlayed that into a payday.
He did. He got a big payday, and he was pretty good last year, but so was Devontae Graham.
Yeah.
He emerged, and he can play the point, and I hate to tell him this, but LaMelo, on usage rate, he might lead the league in usage rate next year as a rookie. Yep, he just might. So somebody is odd man out, expendable, and I will not be shocked if the Clippers figure a way to pry Terry Rozier loose. I know Chris saying it's not happening. I just think that's their target, and when Steve Ballmer wants something, he usually pulls it off.
Well, you got to match up the salaries. Because Terry Rozier makes about $19 million a year.
Well, you're going to have to do some wheeling and dealing with other players and maybe another team.
Yeah.
Give us Zubac. Okay, we'll take Zubac.
There are trades that would work.
Yep.
There are trades that would work financially. You know, you could send Beverly
we'll take Paul George
to Charlotte for Rozier and Malik Monk or something like that. Like that would work financially.
We'll trade you Rozier for Paul George.
But who's we?
Huh?
Who's your we now?
Charlotte.
You're now Charlotte?
Hey, Chris, might need to do something.
And Charlotte would do that.
You got to do something to make up for this Gordon Hayward deal. You got to fleece somebody like Gordon Hayward just fleeced you. So you got to get somebody. You got to get back, Chris.
I think for the Clippers to get Rozier, it's going to have to be a 3-team deal, 3 or 4-team deal. And that's going to be tough to pull off. Look, they're going to keep trying. And, you know, there's been mention of Derrick Rose. I don't know, you know, Rose obviously is seen his better days, but they're going to keep trying to get a point guard. But even they realize this could be the roster they start the season with.
Yep. So for once, starting next year, the Clippers are going to be way under the radar. The odds makers will not love them because they're going to be starting fresh.
Hold on.
New coach, new culture.
How do you get under the radar with 2 top 10 players when just last year you had the best player? You said the best player in the NBA, that KD was injured and he was just coming off the championship, was Kawhi Leonard. How can you ever, when has LeBron James ever flown under the radar? Chris, can you tell me that? Not Kawhi under the radar? What is he? A B-52? He an AWACS?
He's the silent assassin.
Yeah, he was real solid in Game 7. He was real solid in Game 6 and 5 in the fourth quarter.
Go ahead. You can gloat now. Yeah.
They still start as the second best team in the West. I don't think they're that far under the radar. Like the Lakers are ahead of everybody, but I think they're viewed as the second best team, even over Denver.
Hold up. Wait, who goes to the limit and talk about, man, if I can just get the silver? If I can just get the bronze medal. No.
I hear you. I'm just saying they're not under the radar. That's where they
exactly.
are. Second best.
You were supposed to get the silver in the bubble.
No, we didn't.
Yep.
We won gold.
Yep.
We won gold.
Yeah, because you got every break.
What break, Skip? It was the same bubble.
Miami lost its leading playoff scorer and its heart and soul player in Game 1.
We're not talking
and
about.
you're taking a credit for that?
First of all, hold on. We wanted to play you guys. What were you guys doing?
No, we wanted to play you guys.
No, you didn't. I couldn't tell.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.